Today is a big day. After years of rampant speculation and overwhelming anticipation, finally, today, Nintendo have done something huge. They've released the Wii game Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Switch. Donkey Kong Country Returns first came out on the Wii all the way back in 2 seconds. Sorry. Okay, I'm hearing they've also announced the Switch 2, so I guess I kind of got to. I should talk about that instead. So I think a lot of people are somewhat disappointed with this Nintendo Switch 2 reveal trailer, and on a level, I'll admit so am I a little bit. We'll talk about why later, but first I want to preface this whole thing by saying yes, details about the Switch 2 have been out there for quite a while now. For about the past month, every single day we've had like a new piece of information leak or trickle out, so that's why nothing in here seems particularly new or exciting to a lot of us who are very tapped in. But remember, this video ain't for us, it's for the layman out there. So what I want to do, I'm obviously going to talk about a lot of the leaked details, but I do want to take a look at this trailer as if none of this other information that is in there was out beforehand, if that makes sense. I want to give this an honest appraisal, see if this is a good reveal trailer for the system, and talk about some other details along the way. So let's just go through this basically bit for bit. So right away we start with this long silent shot of just the original Switch, not even the OLED model, the original day one Nintendo Switch, which is a bit of a weird move in my opinion. I have sent this video to friends to get their opinions on it, and a fair few of them have just turned it on, seen this and gone, oh, it just looks exactly the same as the old Switch. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and opening with just a JPEG of the old Switch, I don't know, it's a weird move, I don't know, and maybe I'm overanalyzing this, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I'm scared this isn't gonna go well for them. So then we have this quick bit here where we're seeing the main Switch body sort of transform and morph the substance style into the new Switch. And yeah, that's all fine, everything that would be here is there. You got the power button, you got the volumes, you see the new sort of Joy-Con slots, they don't focus on them yet, we'll get to that later. But the first new detail that they really hone in on is this. There is now a USB-C port on the top of the Switch as well as on the bottom, which strange first thing to really hold on, but okay, we'll run with it. But I've been racking my brain for this day to try and figure out what this could be used for, what the point of this is, and I've kind of not been able to come up with much. I think a part of that might be because my brain is just stuck on thinking about like that Game Boy backlight thing that came out, the little attachment that you put on top. I'm gonna go out on a limb, I don't think this is going to need one of those. The other thing I can think of is just that a lot of stuff is switching to USB-C instead of USB-A now, so while there might still be a USB-A port on the dock somewhere, there was obviously never going to be one on the main Switch 2 body, there wasn't one on the first one, but what if you want to plug a wired controller in if they're now using USB-C? Can't do it while it's charging. So put that on the top, you can plug a controller in while you're charging the console. And then we've got the new kickstand, alright, now we're talking. It has a similar, just practical approach to the OLED Switch kickstand where the whole thing comes out, but except this time, it's hollow. Which I actually quite like from a design point of view, just aesthetically. I don't know how sturdy that thing's gonna be, but they seemed to have learnt their lesson from the first Switch's kickstand and fixed it with the OLED. This looks like it could be good. They do specifically show it here, like bending all the way back to make sure you know that it's gonna be durable, but then we have the Joy-Cons. They changed, they're bigger, and they're black now. An interesting detail here is that in all the leaks of the Joy-Cons, one of the big talking points has been that new C button. That button right there, that square thing, that's the C button, and in these leaks it says C on the button here, not there at all. So one of two things has happened. Either those leaks were of older units and the Switch will not say C on that button, or for some reason they've removed it in this render, which, you know, wouldn't be entirely surprising. On that original Nintendo Switch 1 trailer, doesn't say Nintendo Switch on the back, and that was for leaking reasons and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure what the move there would be. I think a lot of people really wanted to know from this announcement what the hell that C button does. But I suppose we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer to find out. What do you think it could be? Give a comment, get around it. But then with a great piece of sound design, we see this little thing come out of it where the rail was on the previous Joy-Con, except this is big, it looks plastic, it's got better buttons, and the astute among you might notice, that's not a rail. You can't, it's not gonna happen. How are you gonna put the thing on the console? That doesn't make sense. Well, would you quit getting ahead of yourself for like 5 seconds? Give them some time. Because if you would just take a moment to wait and then watch what happened, you dense buffoon. They're magnetic. They just kind of go on with a magnet. Have you ever used a magnet? They're sick. Just quickly before that, though, they do show the Joy-Cons, the new Joy-Cons, sort of drifting around the place. Not drifting. No, don't say Joy-Con and drift. Don't do it. They'll get me. Nintendo will get me. You see them sliding around the place like this, and the theory is, and take this with a pinch of salt, but also, maybe, that you'll be able to use these Joy-Cons kind of like a little mouse. Which would be cool, I guess. I think it'd be great in something like a real-time strategy game, or in Mario Maker, or here's my idea. Bring back Mario Paint. I mean, you do that. Best-selling console of all time, I reckon. And then we get the logo. It's extremely simple. It's pretty much as expected. I gotta be honest, don't love it. It's not so much that it seems lazy, I just don't think I love the font choice for the two. It sticks out a little bit. It looks more cartoonish than like the kind of refined system they're trying to make this seem. I'm absolutely nitpicking there. I'm sure I will not care about this when the thing actually comes out. This will just become second nature. I just got a bit of a, I don't know, it just puts me off a little bit. There are some great fan mock-ups online that I've seen that I think would have been better than this, but I also completely understand why they've gone with this. This is the most clear they can possibly be, and after the whole Wii U scenario, it was kind of a necessity. So yeah, then we get some nice quick shot, quick cut views of the console, and then this. One of the biggest smoking guns here. We're getting a new Mario Kart, baby! And this is where I start to get a lot more negative. I am keen for a new Mario Kart, and I think showing a new Mario Kart for the system, you got to. You've absolutely got to. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still such a huge seller on the original Switch to this day, and it came out like a month after the system came out. So people are really keen for a new Mario Kart game, but this, as fun as I'm sure it will be, this is not the first thing we need to see on the system, because it doesn't look graphically that good. I mean, it doesn't look bad, and this is like a very small glimpse of it we're seeing. We're not even seeing it properly in action. This is just it on a screen in the trailer, but this kind of doesn't impress, I don't think, anybody. I know I said I was going to try and not talk about the leaks much, but about a year ago, one of the earliest proper solid things we heard about the Switch 2, that was somebody had seen the new Mario Kart playing on it, and that it was visually incredible. This cannot be that Mario Kart, because it looks fine. Again, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look like it couldn't run on the first Switch. And the thing you need to show people, because the criticism already that people are going to have is that it just looks like the Switch again. So you need to show people that no, okay, physically it's the Switch, but graphically it's on a whole new level. It's going to take what handheld gaming can be and up it completely the way the Switch did the first time. We went from the 3DS being what handheld games look like to the Switch. That is a huge jump, and if you're going to try and just do the same console again, you really need to show people that graphically we are stepping this up, and I do not think this does that whatsoever. And look, I know the game will almost definitely look better than this. I'm not saying this is what the final game's going to look like, and even if it did, I'm not saying that that's bad. But in that first trailer for the original Switch, you see things like the guy playing Skyrim, and you're like, oh wow, this thing can do Skyrim? And I'm going to talk more about that trailer later, but this just, I think you need to show the software, and you need to show the software looking good. I don't think they've done that here, and I think that could be an issue. But then we get confirmation that it's coming out in 2025, which, God, you'd hope so. And then also that it's going to be backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch games, which again, God, you'd hope so. But both things are cool to get confirmation of. And then finally the announcement of a Nintendo Switch 2 sent at Nintendo Direct on the 2nd of April, which I think might maybe disprove a lot of people's theories about it launching in March. Can't say that for certain, but I think this makes it pretty unlikely.